Evening, everyone, and we are back with Aintree Day 3. Day 1 is in the books, and this is Thursday night. Harry, how was day 1 for you?
Yeah, got off to a really good start with Banbridge. I would say it's an overall team effort. I didn't really deliver anything from then. Always good to get off of a winner and a good overall team performance for Racing Social. So what can go wrong?
And your highlight of the day?
Probably the golden hour. Constitution Hill and Shishkin. What more can you want? A sight to be seen. Horsegasms galore, I don't want to say. But what more can we want? Two fantastic performances. A lot of doubters in Shishkin proven wrong, including myself. And Constitution Hill, snugged up, very professionally done. What more could you want?
No. Anything to follow on from that, Dawn? Shishkin was just magnificent, weren't he?
Magnificent. And as we always keep saying on the show, Joe, you never give up. You always keep believing. And the horse does it by winning. He doesn't care what anybody thinks. He just wins. And he did it. It was the old Shishkin coming back again. And to see a Nicky hour was something of the old times and what we always remember. And also what I really love to see was Zenta getting up because of those three Willies fillies, Lossiemouth, Galamarcou, Zenta, beautiful, triumphant triumph. They'll all go on and win grade ones next year, guarantee it.
We'll see about it. Staying with Nicky, Harry, in the first on Saturday, the Maghill novices, your John Bonds here. It's quite unfortunate, really. He's obviously 2 Cheltenham festivals, bumped into Constitution Hill, and then he bumped into Al Fabiolo. But can he gain compensation on Saturday?
Yeah, I think he can. Obviously, Banbridge is still in the market, but I doubt he's going to run. You got to look at it. He's 1-2. Should be at 1-3, 1-4 chance. Outclassed like the Cheltenham, a bit novice-y, didn't jump the best. Got tired at the hill. Like I said to Jay, his one nose went, what more could you ask for? Bumped into some really nice types. For me, he just wins. Best horse in the race at a flat track. Prove he can do it. Last year, went from Cheltenham to Aintree, did it. And like I said, 1-2 odd, snap that up. At 1-4 poke.
Yeah, I agree. It should be a lot. It should be shorter, in my opinion. Dawn, are you with John Bon?
Oh, 100%, Joe. Like 2-1, 1-1, 1-2. We've no El Fabiolo to, annoy him this year either. So he hacks up easy. Forget that Warwick race. Calico is in this as well. Calico went on and won again. Will Calico destroy him? Or annoy him, not destroy him. Nothing's going to destroy him. He's the out and out winner. He's classy. If he's right, if he's not in a mood, we can all wake up in bad moods some days. But second to Conhill the Supreme, second to El Fab and Arkle. What's not to love? If you want a bit of a forecast like we had today with Banbridge and San Juan, you've got not long till May. He's interesting. He was second to Stage Star in the Turner, so I like him at a little bit of value. Just if you want a forecast, because this is too tight for me, just too tight with John Bon on his own. So John Bon and not long till May. Very, very nice. Thank you very much.
Okay, what looks like a foregone conclusion, we're moving to a handicap hurdle, 3 miles for furlong, won last year by Party Business. And this, on paper, is very, very competitive here, Dawn. You've got Good Time John here, the per temps winner. You've got last year's third and per temps third, Mill Green. I mean, where's your data ended up?
Can always go with Dallas to Pictons and go really crazy.
Good.
It's a crazy couple kind of days. No, Good Time Johnny, the pre-temps winner. Handicap King. Liam McKenna up 5 off. Surely you're not forsaking him, Joe. You can't forsake him. I know he's not value this time. I know people had him at 25s, people have him at 9s for the pre-temps, but he's gone up £5. That's not going to bother him. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful performance at Cheltenham. Third in the pre-temps qualifier at Leopardstown. I adored him. Went back and looked and seen that, like, that champion bumper we often refer to, the Fernie Hollow, Queensbrook, appreciate it. He was in that as well. So for a bit of racing history, but to me, he's the out and out winner. I like Outlaw Peter as well at 8-1. I just go back to that Sandown with Conhill. I know it was 31 lengths, but sure, look, who cares about 31 lengths when it's Conhill? But yeah, no, my heart and my head go with my old boss, so to speak, Good Time Johnny. Tony Martin, handicapping king, and Lee McKenna, who is a very valuable 5 off.
Okay, confident about that. Good time, Johnny. Harry, where's your head at?
Yeah, I got 2 little darts here. Dawn kind of spoiled it, hitting them both on the head. But Fav, fair enough price. Won well last time out. Warrants, I think it's around about a 5-1 price. Outlaw Peter is around about 8.5 to 1. Really, really solid novice. Obviously, the Con Hill form. Pulled up in a Lanzarote second. Won on the handicap debut last time out. Really well, I think by 2.5 lengths. For me, if you take the Fav out of the equation, he's the one in here that has more to offer than the rest. And I think with the favourite at 5 to 1 and 8.5 to 1 and Outlaw Peter, hopefully they'll be battling out the finish and finishing 1-2.
Okay. And Don mentioned that I was on Good Time Johnny for the per temps anti-post as well. It's a well thought out plan. Can he back it up here? I've got me doubts, unfortunately, and it's probably going to come back and bite me in the ass. But Mill Green, he was third in the per temps last year, then third in this. And obviously, he was third again in the per temps this year. And I actually think he can reverse form with Good Time Johnny. He's only gone up £1. Good Time Johnny's gone up £5. Nico's back on. I think it all points to a big run from a horse who just never runs a bad race. I mean, I've never really taken much notice of him before, but I've taken note now. And 8 to 1, fair enough price. I do think he can reverse form with Good Time Johnny. Whether that's good enough to win, we'll see, but he would be my selection. And now move on to the 3 o'clock, which is the Mersey Novices Hurdle, 2 mile 4, grade 1, won last year by 3 Stripe Life. Hermes Allen head to the betting here, 4 to 1, but surely got to take him on, Dawn, haven't you?
You do have to take him on, Joe, but kind of then you go that Ballymore and the way people talk about this Impere Pass, the big Impere Pass torn on my side. He was unlucky, I thought, in that Hermes Allen. I never thought he was going to win, but he was bumped around and then he was necked on the line and ended up 6th. But he beat You Wear It Well in the Shallow, and that's what excites me and ignites me and makes me think, will it stay your side of the pond over mine? Dark Raven, there's a lot to like. Paul riding on the crest of a wave. You could say as usual, but even better now. And you've got your Marine Supreme form there. You've got, he was third in the DRF. A very nice win at Leopardstown at Christmas. We both talked about and we thought he was excellent that day. He's 9 to 2. An Irish Point. If Davy doesn't get the national, I want Davy to have a win at Aintree. You know where I'm going to go with this. Second to Champ Kiley. Second in that Royal Bond, where Ashrow Diamond was third, Champ Kiley was 4th. Shouldn't have run at Dublin Racing Festival, in my opinion, but I'm not Rob Corr, nor am I Gordon. And his win at Naas when he came back was very, very easy, ahead of No Looking Back, who now I know Brazil has kind of lost his way a bit, but No Looking Back has beaten Brazil before. So, oh God, where do I go? Where do I go? And I'm going to have to be quick about it. To hell with it, I'll go with a Crazy Bonkers. I'll get to the point. Irish Point because of Champ Kiley.
Right on Hermes Allen.
I did make a good case for the other pair though, so.
Harry, you a fan of Hermes Allen?
I'm a fan, yes. Would I be spending me hard-earned money on him on Saturday? Probably not. I had a small bet on him at Cheltenham, so pulled a bit of a grudge there. Ran a good race for the majority of it. I just faded late on. What I like here is Dark Raven, actually, like Dawn said. Ran about a 9 to 2, I think, it's a fair enough price. He's only had really 2 runs at the top table. You got to have a look at it at Cheltenham, I think it was Leopardstown. What disgrace to live at. If you look back at Cheltenham, made some slight errors late on in the race, which probably cost him. And for me, just at a flat track, Paul Townend, like I said, riding on the crest of a wave, who could just sharpen up the jump in. It's going to get a good toe into the race. 9 to 2 seems more than a fair price here.
Yeah, I'm with you and Dark Raven. Hermes Allen was very poor at Cheltenham, but apart from you wear it well, going back through his form before that, what has he actually beat? I know it's not his fault. You can only beat what's behind you or in front of you, but still, I don't think the form's that strong. Do we write off You Wear It Well? Is the ground gone against her?
50-50 there, yeah.
Yeah, but Dark Raven's the one for me. if you watch the Supreme, he was bang there at the end. He was probably last one off the bridle. He travelled beautifully into the race, and they just sprinted away from him up the hill. And I think he's crying out for this trip and more. I do think he'll get 3 miles. So yeah, he's a typical Simon Munir horse. He'll just get smuggled into the race. Paul Townend on board. I mean, what's not to like? 92. I think it's a fantastic bet. And I do see, looking down, Blow Your Wads in the field, obviously a favourite of mine. He deserves his chance, but he's up against it here. So it's just good to see the connections have a runner in a Grade 1. I quite like that. So we move on now to the Liverpool Hurdle, Grade 1, 3 mile, half a furlong, won last year by that pesky side de Burley, who scuppered a lot of people at Cheltenham. Can he go back to back, Dawn?
I don't know, because I don't know what to expect with him anymore. You know, I really, really don't. I think it's all over, and then he surprises me again. He's Tiger Roll's best friend. So, I mean, he's going to want to be showing. Tiger's gone over to Parade. He's going to show his best friend how good he is. Do I think it's maybe too quick for him off the back of Cheltenham? Possibly. Florian Porter was second to him last year. Florian Porter gets a bit of a run on them. You know, he might get away and they mightn't catch him. Home by the Lee. As JJ Slevin says, he's a bit of a weirdo. And he is a bit of a weirdo, but I like him. And I thought he was fierce unlucky in the stairs. I thought nothing went right for him. And Joseph said he was actually lucky to stay up, that he wasn't injured badly. So he must have come out of that race okay for Joseph to be taking him to Aintree to give him his chance. He beat Bob Ollinger at Naas. I loved him when he won at Christmas. I really did. And he was third once upon a time to Envoy Allen. So that's really nice for him. Marie's Rock, my girl. I don't know what happened. Honeysuckle obviously was always going to win that race. That's Honeysuckle's race. But I cannot forget her New Year's Day win. That was so, so good. And when she came over to Punchestown and what she had finishing behind her, Epatante, Stormy Ireland, who's just had a baby, Burning Victory, and she wears it well, who has won 2 races this season. So I am going to stick with the lady, and I'm going to go with Maria's Rock, but I like Home by the Lee. He's not a lot of value, but again, are we going in forecast territory? Yeah, I'm going to go in forecast territory. I'm having fun doing that these days. So Marie's Rock, and if it can't be Marie's, let it be the weirdo Home by the Lee.
Okay. When I looked at this race, there's just question marks galore. Every horse has got a question mark. Seems to be the theme these days in these Stayers hurdles. However, I'm going to stick with what you call him, the weirdo, Home by the Lee. I backed him at Cheltenham. He was disappointing. But if you remember his season so far up until Cheltenham, if you remember what horse he is, I do think 7-1 is a fantastic price. For one reason or another, it just didn't happen at Cheltenham for him. I don't know why, but was it mistakes he made? Was it the ground? Was it the track? Who knows? But I expect to see an improved performance from him on Saturday. So Home by the Lee for me, 7-1. Love it. The weirdo. Let's cheer him on. One not back him, but I just want to talk about Morel. What's he doing here, Harry? Is it desperation or is it opportunity?
I think it's a bit of both. Like you say, you haven't really got any standout type in the Stayers hurdles. It's no disrespect to any of the other horses. Obviously, he tried them at fences. Things haven't really gone their way. So it's a bit of, where do we go now? Is there an opportunity where there's been no standout horses? I think it's a bit of both. Comes there with a chance. Don't know if I'll personally back him, but it wouldn't surprise me at all to see him run a good race.
I suppose he could have gone 2.5, then you run into Constitution Hill. So what's the point in that? So you might as well try him over 3. See what happens if he runs well. If he's up more doors next season, I suppose.
Exactly, 100%.
Who do you fancy?
I'm going to go the horse that finished second to Marie's Rock in a real kill at Cheltenham, and that's Ashel Drasher. Sent off at massive odds last time at Cheltenham in the Stairs. Did it from the front. Ran an absolute solid race. Only concern here would be the ground. But Brett Stingle, since he's got on him, absolute top for the job. Gets on with him like a cup of tea. And for me, if he can just get out in front, dictate the pace, he's a horse that wears it all on his sleeve. He's going to keep going and going and going. And it wouldn't surprise me at all to see him flat to the boards at the last and just plug on and plug on. And at 8-1, you're definitely going to get him on his worth here.
Yeah, I can definitely see that with his style, Aintree, and the long straight definitely suits his style, doesn't it?
Yeah, and exactly. And if you look back at his form, like Dawn likes doing, second to Noble Yates, obviously the Grand National winner in the Menny's Cloud on his last run, and the time before that he won, both on heavy ground. I say 1 and 2 form at Aintree. What more could you want?
Okay. Moving on to Claw Class 4, the handicap race, 3 mile won last year by Sam Brown. Staying with you, Harry, your old mate, Scoutlands, have got the favourite. Is that your idea of the winner, Midnight River?
Sadly not. I do like the horse, but Cheng Matty and on because I love to shake him up, Harry. Such a consistent, such a lovely type. Getting better with age, getting better with every run. Jumps like a stag. Been running really, really well in handicap form. I think he had form with Dancing on My Own, obviously won today. I think he's around about 15-2 price, more than fair to place as an offer. For me, if he can just settle, be in the front rank, get his jumping sorted, he's definitely going to get a run. Obviously, he was third last year in a red run. Brings course form. What more could you like?
Okay. And Dawn?
I'm going to keep going to the river to pray, not play. Midnight River, I really, really like him, and I need an aeroplane and some type of capacity. I know I've gone that direction for tomorrow, but I needed some on Saturday as well. And we need a skeleton Saturday. We've looked at it all season, so we want a bit of that. He was 11-7. And I really, really like setting he was 11-7 in the plate. He beat Stolen Silver New Year's Day. Very well driven out. You've got Editor de Gite and Edward Stone, El Rodotto form with Stolen Silver. He was third to Gala in the Paddy Power. French Dynamite, who I quite like each way tomorrow as well. So I'm going with that. Really like him. He's 11-2. Also looked at Beauport, merely because he was 9th in the Kim Muir to Angel's Dawn. He's only carrying 10-12 for Nige. And also at 12-1 for an each way play, Gold Cup Bailey. Stuart Crawford sends him over. He's a Minear, double green. He's been placed with Hoy Senior, the real whacker, and Journey with Me. Like him at a bigger price. And a double green at a bigger price, you can't really ignore these days. But Midnight River for the win. Aeroplanes, please. Skeleton Saturday. Thank you.
There's a bit of Midnight River form in my selection here. I quite fancy Nassalam. I'm going in again. I backed him in the Ultima. He made a crucial mistake. So ultimately, we still don't know whether he truly stays 3 mile, which would be a concern. Time before this, he was third behind your Midnight River at Cheltenham. The weight swing favourably in Nassalam's favour this time. So Midnight River is going to be there. I think Nassalam won't be far behind. The way he finishes off his races suggests he will stay. I mean, he's always staying up the hill over 2.5 at Cheltenham. So I do think he's got it in him. He's now been backed into 6-1 joint favourite at Midnight River. So there is some positivity behind him. So yeah, Nassalam is my selection in this race. The main event now, Dawn. The actual Grand National itself, there's no limit to how many selections you can have. I'm only saying that because I've got 4 and I've refused to drop one of them out. So who's your strongest, and then take us through what you think.
Strongest, he's been sitting with us all season. Mr. Tall, Dark and Handsome, Delta Work.
That was Galloping Deschamps.
No, Galloping Deschamps, that's Delta. Special Cuddles. No, he's just, look, 5 grade 1s. He's got a sexy tongue tie on, a lovely pair of cheek pieces. He's tall, he's dark, he's handsome, he's the Dark Knight. He gives everything. And Keith Donoghue is up. He's 8-1 now. I took him at 20-1. I'm delighted and excited. I mentioned Darren a lot. He's Darren's boy, and the two of them together, they're just a joy. And they've become, I'm so glad to see that people are really starting to be captivated finally with Delta Work, because he deserves all the plaudits. His cross country win, seeing him come back up the chute, you know, I unfortunately I wasn't there, but I seen the videos and he just looked like he wanted more. He looked like he had so much more in the tank. His season debut at Punchestown back in November, I watched him walking around after the race. There was a photo finish to singing banjo, and I said, that is my national horse. That's my national horse. Forget the Boyne Hurdle. That was a mess this year. He was only out for a skip and a jump, and he was third given that weight away in the cross country at Cheltenham back in January. So all it's said and done, he's going to be my only one, and he's my winner for the national. I know he's not a whopping price. So for a bigger price, he's got the blinkers on. It's my gorgeous grey Mr. Cocoa Beach, and I'm delighted and excited to see Harry Cobden up. Really, really delighted. He won his Grand National trial easy at Punchestown, easy. Yes, we can argue that Angel's Dawn, should she have stayed up, there would have been more of a battle. Okay, fair enough, maybe there would have been, but that's ifs and buts. Ran so solid in the Thyestes, and we've seen what Defy Blue has done coming out of the Thyestes. 8th last year, so I think he can go better this year in the national, and he was 4th in the Thyestes this year. I love him to bits. I love him to bits. Special shout for the big dog. I was so delighted to see him get up after his massive fall. If you want huge value at 50-1, Dunboyne, Jack Tudor is up. Yates, as I always say, they grind and they give. Only done on the nod in the Thyestes to Carefully Selected. Has been 6th to Panda Boy, and has been 13th to Good Time Johnny. So we've all that form line going along. Capodanno, I'll leave that to you, Joe, but I do like him at a bit of a price too. And Longhouse Poet, I hope he runs a super race for Martin Brazel. He is consistently nearly being a bridesmaid all the time at the moment. He deserves this. The horse was 6th in it last year. He won at Christmas, and I went, God damn it, I followed the horse off the cliff and I left him alone this time, so I'll have €1 each way as well. But Delta Work is my top one, and I think at a huge price, Dunboyne is going to run very, very well. As is Cocoa Beach at 30 trees, a steal.
Okay, all about Delta Work then for Dawn. Just going to quickly run through mine, Harry. Galadumaniel, National Hunt Chase winner, 3rd in the Irish National last year. Paul has chosen him. That's always positive. Question mark is about his jumping, but the fences, as we all know, are not as stiff as they were at Aintree these days. I mean, they seem to be a lot stiffer at Cheltenham. So I do think if he brushes through the odd one, it's not really going to matter. He's an out-and-out stayer. If he's bang there up the straight, I don't think there'll be a horse finishing stronger than him. Then you've got Any Second Now, Mr. Reliable, placed in the last 2 nationals. Again, he's won his prep. Despite weight, he will go close. He's just a reliable angle in the race. The unknown is Capodanno. He's sneaking under the radar a bit. He won last year at Punchestown, a Grade 1 novice chase. 3rd on seasonal reappearance in his prep. I had him noted as a Gold Cup horse at the start of the season. He had a very similar profile to Alvin Photo when he won his first Gold Cup. I can see why Mullins has come to the national now. Like, strike where you can, a bit like Noble Yates. Get in there, win the national before you get hammered by the handicapper in running other races. I think Jamie was trying to do that with Garlaw, but it kind of like backfired when he fell at the last and didn't qualify. But he's a very sneaky under the radar bet. Capodanno, about 20-1, I think. And the last is good old Vanillier. I'm surprised you left him out, Dawn. I know you're a massive fan of his. Albert Bartlett winner in 2021. Things haven't gone his way since over fences. His latest second to Kemble, though, was a massive step in the right direction. He was running on all the way to the line. I have no doubt, a bit like Galadwell, he will stay 100%. He's experienced enough over a fence now to look after himself over the national fences. 10 stone 6, he could have been let in here lightly. And from what I can gather, Gavin Cromwell is fairly confident. So there's my, there is the first 4 home in the national, Harry. So beat that.
Yeah, strongest selection will be Delta Work. Obviously, won last time out. Main target is this race all season. Looks spot on, especially after Tiger Roll passing the torch. Tiger Roll, Delta Work. Pardon me. Next one will be Gallard de Minil. Like you said, you need a high class blogger, and he is like that. Main concern would be the jumping. Third and finally, is Galvin at 18-1. Class horse in the race. If he takes the fences, should be there, bang out.
Galvin. So are we fairly confident then the prize looks like between us all is going back to Ireland, is it?
Oh, I think top 5.
Really? I think
top 5. That confident, Joe. Which
no,
5 now?
No one fancies the favourite at the Cup of that Current Rambler?
No, I think Cheltenham has come too soon off. That was a tough race.
Yeah. Okay. We get these national out for the viewers in a bit of a written form, so it's easier to work with. In the last Harry, in the bumper? Any selections in that? I've kind of like waiting for you to tell me what's going to win it, really.
Yeah, cool. Not the strongest selections, but Blizzard of Oz for Willie Mullins. Frustrating type. Really nice performance on debut. Didn't really capitalise on that. I think it took him 4 times to get off the mark. Winner last time out. Should appreciate the flat track. A nice galloping track also. Around about a 7-1 price. Expect to be thereabouts and hopefully run into a place or maybe get a win.
Okay. Dawn, where are we going with your selection? Are we going flat?
Well, we're going flat, but I will say with Harry, I do see the method in his method again, going double green. What stood out to me with Blizzard of Oz is he was third at Punchestown. Second in that race was Captain Cody. Captain Cody was 6th in the champion bumper to A Dream to Share. At one stage in his life, Blizzard of Oz was supposed to be the champion bumper horse. So let's see if actually Aintree was the aim then instead. He is a bit of a monkey and he is frustrating. He's very frustrating. So I'd watch the way the market is going as well. He's 6-1 now, and William Patrick in a bumper. I mean, you'd be silly to ignore. I really like Samu, and anybody who endures me on Twitter, I haven't shut up about this horse since February 11th when he ran at Nace. He's by Sayuni, who Harry will appreciate this. Very, very good. He's making waves on the flat scene all over the world. His mum, Samu's mum, is related to Enable and also related to 5 Group 1 flat winners. Gorgeous horse. He went to Cheltenham, but he was pulled out because of ground. So you'd think he was fresh and well and ready to go. He's 8-1. Luke Dempsey is up. I know Davey has won one of other Gordon's, but I have not shut up about Samu. And if I stop now and stop believing, because we never stop believing, I'd be a hypocrite. So Samu, but I wouldn't be surprised if Blizzard of Oz just hacks up.
Okay. You mentioned Captain Cody there. I didn't realise Jodie Townend's over for the ride. And I think she's absolutely brilliant in the saddle. It'd be great for her to win a race like this. I mean, is she highly thought of in Ireland, Dawn?
She is, Joe. I mean, we fortunately beat her in a Stewart's inquiry. So, but she's very, very good, and you'd be very confident having her on anything to get it up because she's as strong as Rachel. You know, she really, really is. And when Rachel hangs up her boots, you'd hope it's Jodie that we'll be talking about in the same kind of lines in years to come.
Yeah, I hope so. So, Harry, away from the national, your strongest selection?
Oh, I could tip up John Bon and make myself look like a right tart, but it's probably going to be Dashiell Drasher, 8-1, fill your boots.
Okay. Dawn, what about yourself?
Marie's Rock. I'm sticking with the lady.
Marie's Rock. I'm going to go with good old Dark Raven, Harry. I know you like him, so yeah, Dark Raven for me. So that concludes Aintree for another year. Obviously, we'll all be looking forward to the big race itself and hoping everyone comes back safe. That'll be the main thing. So, viewers, hope you will enjoy watching them, provide you with plenty of winners, and we'll be back next week. I think it is Air. Is that right? Brilliant. Cheers. Good stuff. So, cheers, Harry, and cheers, Dawn. Thanks for your time, and see you shortly.